So, my friend Kelly asked me this question about how do you know when you have a lot of choices and you're trying to make the right choice? How do you know when it's the right choice? And what occurred to me after our conversation was that there's two kinds of scenarios and two kinds of yeses that I would like to touch on. And one of them is one of them is kind of what they call the hell yes, it just, or the spark joy. But whatever you want to call it, it's the yes where your body gets really happy and you feel like bubbling over with excitement, and just sort of like your whole body is saying yes, yes, yes. And it's kind of obvious, like when you get that yes, and then you realize that like all of these other things that you thought were a yes, they're more kind of like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. So I guess one thing that I might suggest, if you're not sure if something is like really the yes, or if it's like a maybe yes, is actually like going through step one of the spark joy process, where like you take all of your clothes and you throw them on the bed in a huge pile, and then you pick up each item of clothing one by one, and you hold it in your hand and you ask yourself, does this spark joy? And then you sort out into two piles of the spark joy and the no spark joy. And when I do this process, I actually end up with 3 piles, or maybe it's actually 4 piles. There's the ones that I know I want to keep and the ones that I know I don't care about, and then there's also the really, does it spark joy and does it not? And I just went through this process maybe 3 days ago, and actually what happened is, out of really like hundreds of items of clothing that I own, I ended up with only 3 things that really sparked joy. But it was obvious, like there was a clear and like visceral reaction to those 3 things that I just didn't have with the rest of everything. And I'm not gonna get rid of all my clothing because it's winter, and maybe I'm not feeling like that level of like trust that all my clothes are, that enough clothes will just replace themselves immediately. But the suggestion is that when you know something is right, when you really know something is right, it feels totally different than all of these kind of right things. So maybe if you are lacking clarity about, is this really right for me? Maybe it's not right yet, maybe the time hasn't really come to know, and something, if you just wait, will come along that is a yes, 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 this is right. So that's one type of yes. The other kind of yes is the quiet yes. And that one might be a little bit more challenging. But one like really clear way to recognize the quiet yes is that something in you will say yes, or do this thing, or go to this place, and then it just stops, and it doesn't tell you, like, after it says to do this thing, it doesn't tell you why. It doesn't tell you what it's important for. It doesn't tell you how it will be of help. It doesn't tell you what the reason for doing it is. It just tells you to do it. And then it stops talking, and it doesn't keep telling you to do it. And so this is like a key way to recognize the quiet yes, is that it's coming from a different place, and it's not coming from your mind. You know, it's coming from either, you know, it's coming from your heart or it's coming from your soul, but it's not coming from that mental chatter, and it's not coming from a place of, I should do this because then this will happen and that will, you know, bring about whatever I'm trying to create. It's a deeper knowing. And the way that you know that something is not the quiet yes is that it will say to do this thing, but then it will keep on talking, and it will keep on talking, and it will keep on talking, and it will keep on giving you reasons and explanations, and trying to justify why you should do something. And so, you know, if you find that you are in that place where there's just all this mental chatter and all of this justification why it's a good idea, that is not the quiet yes. So those are my like 2 takes on what is the real yes. The first one, you just know, like when it's the first yes, you don't have to second guess yourself, and you don't have to wonder if it's yes. Like, you just, everything knows. And then the second one, you know, you will get a very clear and like quick message of, you must do this thing, and then silence. So there you have it, my love. 2 ways to recognize a yes.